Hello, myself Sunil R Nair, and here basically we are discussing about the topic that is the currencies basically. Then basically in currencies basically we reached the topic to the tomato planet and potato planet. Tomato planet and potato planet. So in this basically we reached to few stories basically. That few story basically we are not going to discuss again basically. The stories basically are already basically discussed. Now basically thing is the tomato planet and potato planet is already generated, right? And each assume that basically in this world basically there are 1 lakh human needs. 1 lakh human needs multiplied by 3 lakh basically. Each human needs basically created 3 lakh planet. So 1 lakh multiplied by 3 lakh, it's more than basically crores basically. How many crores basically that can be calculated basically. So we can just imagine basically how much matrix basically of the human needs only basically created. Human needs only basically created. So just see basically how, and this everything is done. Done. In this basically, I visited 6 times, not got job. This whole matrix basically are generated and merged with the planets basically. And planet basically daily basically how many planets might be getting created in universe basically. Daily basically how many planets might be getting created basically in the universe basically. That is the main thing basically. That is the main thing basically. So just see basically up to what level the things basically are created. Then one person asked the question here basically. Why basically these type of planets basically are getting created? Without planet creation basically the universe will not work basically. Why basically this entire 100 crore planets basically is required? That was the dangerous question actually asked. And why the rules basically say that basically planet will never end basically. Why basically that rule is basically. Why that rule is basically created that planet will never end in the universe basically. What is the reason behind that? What might be the reason basically? Because in universe basically the minimum age of each and every people basically are 5,000 year, 10,000 year, 20,000 year, 30,000 year, 1 lakh year, 2 lakh year, 3 lakh year, 4 lakh year, 5 lakh year, 10 lakh year, 1 crore year, 2 crore year. Earth planet basically is how many? Earth planet created basically, it also basically created in this time period only basically. 3 lakh, 4 lakh, 5 lakh is the age basically. But there is no proof basically. Few people say that you have proof basically that this many age people exist. That is basically a legal question basically. He or she basically has asked basically long before basically. Long before this was asked. Long before this was asked actually. Then this potato and the tomato energy is the proof basically that this type of basically age people exist. Now basically one question basically one of the person basically asked is assume that basically one of the person basically was in universe and he basically marked one planet basically. That was assumed that potato planet basically. He basically marked it through some energy basically. He basically connected that he basically knowing that this energy was marked and that energy basically he basically was remembering basically. So he basically reason basically behind was something else basically that we will discuss later on. So he basically went very far from the universe basically, very far to do some certain level of task basically. Because there are more than 100 200 crore planets basically. to remember each and every planet basically it's not so easy basically. So he done certain level of mark basically so that he can remember the planet basically, because potato planet, tomato planet would be looking like same basically after certain time basically. It will be looking like earth planet only basically. But to recognize earth planet basically, the army people and the designer basically of the earth planet who basically do first world war, second world war, they have done, they are not basically uh, doing like that basically, right? They are not doing like that basically. They are not basically having the what to say habit basically that we will do first world war, we will do second world war, we will do Kargil war also basically, we will do China India war basically. That time basically the thing was basically there basically that they want the sound effect basically. They want the sound effect in the universe basically. That's why they had done basically. Because to recognize Earth planet basically, this is the only way basically. Because there are basically 3 lakh planet, 5 lakh planet, 6 lakh planet. From human needs basically are how much basically? 1 lakh. 1 lakh multiplied by 3 lakh. How much basically? It's more than 100, 200 crore basically. Between 100 200 crore basically Earth planet will be more looking like same basically after a certain level of time basically. So how basically we are going to recognize that this moving basically planet is Earth planet? How satellite basically assume that basically they have kept the control, but it might possible that sometime basically they also lose the control basically. It might possible basically, right? So how satellite will recognize that? So satellite group basically knows each and every incidence basically. It's not like that basically they know. They only plans the each and every incidence that in Earth planet this is basically the incidence which has to be done basically at any cost basically. Whether they have told basically you have to finish the entire country, then you have to do. Otherwise they will finish the entire country. Because they have told it basically. Why? Because Earth planet is moving in between this 100 200 crore planet basically. So they should recognize na basically how basically they are going to recognize basically. It might possible that sometime basically the grip of the Earth planet basically might miss in the from the satellite basically. That basically most of basically 99% it is not possible. Then also basically if it get mess basically. If it basically get mess basically. That basically mostly it is not possible. Then also basically it get mess. That's why basically lots of temple basically are created of the god basically. They are basically doing job in the universe basically. That's why they are created as a god na basically in Earth planet basically. Lots of basically god basically are there. So they are basically in universe basically doing the basically very dangerous job basically. That's why basically they are god. By chance basically they miss the control basically. That time basically how basically they are also basically gone from Earth planet only basically. So they basically know right everything basically. If the planet is missed, then basically what are the things going to happen, that basically they only know basically. That's why basically they say that basically 1 or 2 country basically if is getting finished, then basically that can be created again also basically. But that will be very dangerous thing basically, because lots of people are going to die, lots of things basically is going to happen. That's why people basically told that basically we have created the educational data basically. Lots of colleges are basically there. From that basically you can track the energies na basically. They are basically doing study also. From there also basically you can study. Because this type of education basically not a single planet basically is having basically. And few people basically are very strong basically. Their idea basically is connected to the satellite also basically. So from there also basically you can track. So there are many possibilities which is created by the Earth planet, so that basically war is not supposed to happen. But last possibility is war only basically. If nothing is basically getting tracked, then war. In next video we are going to see war.